Hello everyone, my name is Jonathan Torres and we are group number 5. My group members include Melissa Kittredge, Samantha Luna, Stephen Ocampo, and Michael Sanchez. Today we're going to be presenting our multi-generational group project, Sandwich Generation. Thank you so much for your time and enjoy.
Hello, my name is Samantha Luna and I will be introducing the family. We have Bob, who is a 44-year-old, and he's married to Linda, who's 43 years old. They are considered part of the sandwich generation because they have one child who is Tina, who is 14 years old, and also have Bob's mother Lily, who's 76, living in the same household. Linda, Bob's wife, struggles greatly because she is the primary caregiver of both Tina and Lily in the household. She suffers from increased stress, depression, caregiver role strain, and she is constantly worried if she can handle the future caretaking aspects that come with caring for Bob's mother, Lily. Bob, who is the primary provider of the family, also suffers with increased stress from his workload and is constantly concerned that something may happen and they will no longer be able to financially support themselves and his mother, Lily. Both Bob and Linda are worried about raising Tina correctly and ensuring she lives a good quality life and becomes a successful part of society. Neither Bob or Linda communicate with one another about the struggles they are having, which leads to a buildup of stress and tension. Lily, who lives with Bob ever since her husband passed away, has multiple comorbidities including hypertension, type 2 diabetes, arthritis, and chronic kidney disease, which causes her to visit her primary care provider regularly. She struggles with her physical issues such as early onset dementia, but also struggles with depression from losing her late husband and financially because she can no longer work and her only income is Social Security. Along with that, Lily worries that she is a burden on her son and daughter-in-law, but is happy to be so close with them and her granddaughter Tina. Tina is getting ready to transition to middle school and is highly anxious about new people, new friends, and about dealing with a new year in school. Tina can tell that her parents are feeling more stressed ever since her grandmother moved in, but she is happy to be able to spend so much time with her grandmother. This situation describes what is called the sandwich generation, which includes middle-aged adults who have young children to care for, while also caring for their aging parents who have multiple health issues or comorbidities. Each member of the family is a part of a different generation, and together they are part of a multi-generational household.
Hello everyone, my name is Stephen Ocampo. I'm going to be going over the characteristics of generational cohorts that are applicable to our case scenario. We're going to start with baby boomers, and this includes Lily. They're born between 1946 and 1964. Baby boomers generally have a desire to be influential and have control. They believe in hard work, and they like to mentor the new generations that are coming up. They value a good work-to-life balance, and having the power to make choices is very, very important to them, alongside being able to express themselves freely, and they can be very social. This is very difficult for Lily because she's lost a lot of control in her life in many ways. This includes both Lily's health issues and dependency, both physically and financially, on both Bob and Linda. She kind of feels like she has lost her autonomy due to a lot of her health issues and every other issue she's been having. So we're going to go ahead and continue. We're going to start covering Generation X. This is individuals that are born between 1965 and 1980. Some of the characteristics that are relevant are that this cohorts are a bunch of individuals who value a healthy work-to-life balance. They want independence both at work and at home. And due to the increased technology throughout their lives, they are highly adaptable. With Bob and Linda, they want to have a lot of independence. With Linda, it's going to be at home, and with Bob, it's going to be at work. The next generation we're going to go over, if this will go over, is going to be Generation Z. Tina is part of Generation Z. This includes individuals born between 1997 and 2012. Some of the characteristics of Generation Z includes that they're highly educated at school, university, etc. They're also digital natives, especially when it comes to social media such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the things that we take for granted that other generations are not that good with. They also have a disposition to anxiety and are very expressive at expressing their limits, as in, like, if someone were to be bothering them, they would be able to explain why it bothers them. With Tina here, the situation at home with the stress within the household and adding her grandma to the household while also starting a new school can create a ton of anxiety that they're already prone to. The next thing we're going to go over is going to be generational misunderstanding. This is a misunderstanding that occurs between the sandwich generation and Generation X because Linda's a part of it. There are many types of generational misunderstandings that can occur in a family, but it's also more common in a sandwich generation that is compromised with Generation X. A lot of the women in sandwich generations will take on more of the burden at home than the men do. It can also be passed down to the daughters of the sandwich women. This creates a situation where Linda may resent Bob and Lily for having to take care more of the burden of taking care of their child Tina, while also being the primary caretaker of Bob's mom Lily, who struggles with dementia and other health issues. Due to being part of Generation X, Linda may not communicate her struggles with this with Bob, and the stressors that he has may not be communicated back to Linda as well. Linda, or women in general in sandwich generations, can feel more emotionally and physically fatigued or burned out due to the high demands of being the primary caregiver.
Erik Erikson, an ego psychoanalyst, established a developmental theory that categorized 8 distinct stages. Each stage details the psychosocial crisis or task that the recipient would face. Additionally, a specific virtue would be attained should the individual appropriately master their successive life stages. The neoliberal society that we reside in today encourages age categories that refer to the healthy, the predictable, the unpredictable non aged adult, the degenerative, and the aged adult. Tina, our 14-year-old adolescent, struggles to establish her identity through personal desire for choice and competition. She is certain to feel neglected by her parents as they navigate methods to sustain a blended household while caring for her grandmother. According to Erikson, if Tina cannot find equilibrium with her parents and grandmother, she has the potential to harbor feelings of narcissism, which may result in a generalized decrease in empathy. Her virtue task is fidelity. Bob and Linda, however, are middle aged adults who may find themselves stagnant in the pursuit of productive life momentum. This is usually the axis point where midlife crises occur for men and menopause begins for women. Stuck between providing sustenance with waned attention for their child and survival for their mother, their focus on generativity alters to simply escaping stagnation. Lily, the eldest and most infirm, seeks the virtue of wisdom. Because the old depend on the young for care, this can inadvertently metamorphosize into a power play with Tina. At this point, Lily may feel as though she is a burden to the family while spending her days fearful of death related to a decline in generativity. Collectively, Erikson concludes that generativity drives the adult human throughout their lifetime. Generativity emerges from 2 distinct sources of motivation: inner desire and cultural demand. As we observe with the 3 generations struggling to balance their meaningful relationship through intimacy, it's through this generativity that intergenerational exchange will develop and enhance the physical, psychological, and psychosocial health dynamics. The Bowen family system theory represents a framework of family therapy. Here, it explains how emotional objectivity during stressful life experiences can result within the family system. Differentiation of self is the method by which emotional maturity is grown between generations. Not only a greater parental competency is achieved, but strengthened interpersonal relationships as well. Essentially, the greater the differentiation of self, the lower the psychological distress and chronic anxiety occur. At the same time, it increases marital satisfaction. For the examined family, the concept of emotional triangles describe the creative, healthy balance of support across the generations. The therapeutic alliance between Tina and Lily would be cultivated by both Bob and Linda. In order to achieve this influence, they must collectively address family decisions based on spirituality, acculturation, trauma, and the scope of personalities. Tina's individual struggle comes from the issues derived not only from the crisis with caring for her ailing grandmother, but her parents' problematic behaviors and emotional distance. Bob and Linda are likely to manage their anxious attention to the household by isolating their intimate feelings with family members. Lily's dependence on and degree of family attention is based on the culture of society's regard for elders. Her fate is a direct result of her children's emotional maturity to problem solve. Joyce Travelby's nursing theory outlines the biological necessity for all families to increase their understanding of the aging human condition. Remaining attentive to the illness and suffering of the soma and ego, or body and mind, restores compassion and due process. The goal is to open techniques of communication, reflection, and sharing of perceptions in order to be holistically present with the patient, or in this case, the collective family. Illness and deterioration is a reality for human life, but Travelby's approach illuminates harmonious methods to achieve what is known as rapport. Originally designed for nurses, this model reveals the self determination that is the foundation for connecting, caring, coping, and consequence of humanizing the aging human condition. Travelby's message states that the sympathetic nurse is an authentic human being and leader capable of emotional support in helping another human being in a time of crisis. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Jonathan Torres, and today I'll be discussing the developmental tasks and multi-generational issues. Linda is a 43-year-old female who is part of the Generation X. According to Erikson's psychosocial stages, Linda is in the generativity versus stagnation stage. Her additional stress of being a caregiver to her mother-in-law Lily, in addition to caring for and being there for her daughter, is causing a lot of stress and placing a significant amount of responsibility on her. This prevents her from focusing on her personal development and from focusing on the upbringing of her daughter. The caregiving role encompasses various tasks, such as assisting with healthcare maintenance, providing emotional support, and maintaining social connections. Overall, it requires vigilance in ensuring the well-being of the care recipient is maintained. Researchers have found that caregivers are at an increased risk of experiencing negative effects on their overall well-being. This can affect various aspects of their lives, including their health, relationships with others, and economic security. If the stress of being a caregiver becomes too overwhelming that Linda can no longer handle it, it can cause caregiver role strain and lead to her to be in the stagnation phase in the Erikson's theory of psychosocial development, thus causing a hindrance in her developmental tasks. Lily is a 76-year-old woman who belongs to the baby boomer generation. According to the Erikson psychosocial theory, Lily is in the integrity versus despair stage of her life. Lily's developmental task is facilitated by living with her family, where her daughter-in-law, Linda, acts as her primary caregiver. This is a facilitator to Lily's development, as evidence supports that family care involvement can aid in prolonging the amount of time of independent living of individuals with dementia. Living with her family can facilitate Lily to be in the integrity stage in Erikson's theory of psychosocial development, as she is able to live and interact with her family and pass on her wisdom to her granddaughter. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, my name is Melissa and I'll be going over the recommendations section of my group's PowerPoint. So to start, our first recommendation is family members need to take time to learn from one another using an open-mindedness approach. We have in our family Grandma Lily, who is in the baby boomer generation, and granddaughter Tina, who is within Generation Z, and they face communication barriers and difficulties, especially when it comes to technology. Both Tina and Lily could benefit from an education on how to use an open-mindedness mentality approach. Within an article we found that I'll be referencing throughout this section, Inventor 2017, it discusses how using an open mentality encourages generations to better understand each other, and it gives each the ability to validate each other's feelings. Tina is a part of Generation Z, and she tends to view baby boomers like Lily, her grandma, as having lack of knowledge and as being ignorant to technology. But if Tina was correctly educated on the importance of open-mindedness within generational communication, she would be able to see how her grandmother or baby boomers do have a lot of skills that her Generation Z still don't possess, and she could learn from Lily, being that baby boomers are considered a generation filled with knowledge and skills that most generations can still learn from. And that's also from Venter 2017. In terms of the baby boomer generation, Lily, they view other generations as threatening due to the fast growth of society and technology because they feel like they can't keep up. But if Lily used the open mindedness mentality approach, she would be able to see her granddaughter as a resource instead of as a threat to help her learn the basics of technology. And Venter discusses how the Generation Z, a part of Tina's generation, is technology savvy and creative. And if Lily opened up to Tina could educate her grandma, which in turn could substantially improve her quality of life in the end. Melissa again, and I'm going to be finishing up the PowerPoint and the recommendations slide. So the second recommendation we have for our family is face-to-face communication. In the Venter article that was previously used, it discusses how face-to-face communication is the most efficient and effective way to communicate among family members and among generations, providing the family with more opportunities to communicate face-to-face, such as simple family dinners twice a week, allows for more efficient communication and bonding time. When this face-to-face communication occurs, it allows for each individual to be heard clearly and adequately. And when individuals do communicate with each other face-to-face, each person can also see one another's nonverbal cues, which allows everyone to better understand the person's emotions at the time and get to know each other one another better. Planning and scheduling times for this face-to-face communication can establish better relationships between generations among this family, which is why we chose this recommendation. The second and unique one that we chose is family traditions. We want to make sure that family traditions involves planning for the family to develop new traditions together. It's unique because each generation within families have their own unique traditions, and they could have grown up with them, or they could have learned from individuals and then they never got to try it out. Family traditions do create scenarios where members are excited to spend quality time with one another and create new memories together. It's important to remind the family that these traditions should include every family member's input to ensure that each person is being heard and considered. And in an article we found, Phillips et al. In 2018, it discussed how creating these new traditions allows for communication, creativity, openness, and connections as an entire family unit. And the last and final recommendation that my group and I came up with is referral to resources. So incorporating additional resources such as group family therapy, marriage counseling, and socialization therapy for Tina may encourage family members to meet each other's developmental and psychosocial needs, as discussed in Conseco et al. 2019. So the first referral to a resource would be family group therapy. Family group therapy is great because it creates an open and safe space which promotes problem solving by better understanding the family dynamics that they have. And it provides having a facilitator present to resolve any conflicts that can better improve poor relationships and improve family communication. The second would be marriage therapy for Bob and Linda. This would be a good recommendation for this family because Bob and Linda both face unique stressors that may be hard for each other to fully understand due to their busy schedules. They also have Tina and Lily present in the home, which makes it difficult for Bob and Linda's communication due to lack of private time and space. And then having this safe space for Bob and Linda to communicate their stressors could reduce the tension in the relationship and provide them with the necessary skills they need to navigate each other's stressors and to help each other out in the long run. And then the final referral of resources would include socialization therapy for their daughter Tina. Tina's transitioning to middle school and has a buildup of new constant anxiety about meeting different people and with dealing with stress of a new school year. Tina has social anxiety, which can stem from poor communication within the home, and she's been afraid to talk to her parents because there's been a lot of stress within the home from her grandma moving into their house. Socialization therapy can give Tina necessary tools she needs to seek help from her parents when she feels heightened anxiety. And then also, the therapist for socialization therapy can incorporate the parents, Bob and Linda, to participate so they could learn ways to assist their child's development of social skills at home and within the community. And this therapy could also help Tina to get new coping skills to reduce her social anxiety when meeting new peers, and it can encourage her to meet new friends to increase her confidence.